We've talked a lot that everybody is on their own journey to health. And that's what a lot of life is, right? It's just a journey. I know that you had a very unique journey to health and you had some challenges that came along. And I just love for you to share, like, when did it all start? When did being healthy start being a conscious choice for you?
Empowering you organically, delivering content you trust with results you love.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Empowering You Organically. This is a very special episode where we're going to talk about TeriAnn's journey to health. She has been looking forward to this all week long.
So looking forward to it.
So, TeriAnn, thanks for being here. And we've talked a lot that everybody is on their own journey to health. And that's what a lot of life is, right? It's just a journey. And I know that you had a very unique journey to health and you had some challenges that came along. And I just love for you to share, like, when did it all start? When did being healthy start being a conscious choice for you?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it really started for me over the last 4 years, but I think that I thought I was healthy before that. You know, we hear mainstream media and conventional medicine doctors talking about certain things around health, and we think, oh, we're being so healthy. And that's not to say that conventional medicine isn't accurate or there aren't things about it that are really good. But, you know, just some of the things that I ate that I thought were healthy that I know different now, and things that I did around my body that I thought were healthy, but I know different now. You know, if you would have asked me 4 years ago and before that, you know, about pharmaceuticals and supplements and different things like that, I would have just spouted off answers that I, heard in the mainstream that just aren't accurate. And I have very different belief systems around health now because of my journey. And so about 4 years ago, I started working for The Truth About Cancer in customer support. It was a random fluke that it happened. I was helping out a friend and at the time was working in education and writing a book around education, and had no idea what I was getting myself into. So I ended up watching the Truth About Cancer docuseries that you and Ty created together. And initially when I watched it, I was like, these people are nuts. What are they talking about? Like, what is all of this? Like, do they even know what they're doing? And I had an aunt who had had cancer growing up. She actually ended up dying from it. She had melanoma, and I remember when she went through it, she did a lot of conventional, but she also did a lot of natural treatments as well, which looking back now is very interesting to me. But yeah, I remember watching the docuseries and hearing some of the things in there and being like, what is this? Like, what are they talking about? Nobody talks about this stuff. This is crazy. And like the word organic, I was like, yeah, this is nuts. Fast forward, to now, my life is vastly different. And I believe things around health that I would have never imagined before. And worked my way up in the company for The Truth About Cancer. I absolutely loved what they did and loved the mission after being converted to it and changing things in my life and starting to work with customers and hearing what they were saying and hearing that their lives were being saved and changed. It was changing the way they looked at health, believed in health. And so that was really what changed me and made me think, like, maybe I'm the one that's not right. Maybe I'm wrong because of what I was hearing from people. Like, I was getting on the phone with people every day and hearing stories about people's lives being saved and hearing about how I went through this or I went through that and this information changed my life. And when you hear that so many times over and over and over again, you can't help but ask yourself, what do I not know? What am I missing here? And so I became very passionate about that movement, and it became a huge part of my life. It's changed my entire life, not only professionally, but personally. And I put everything I had, other than my kids and what I give to them, I put everything I had into that mission. And because I really believed in what it could do for people's health. And it was just eye-opening for me.
It was an amazing time, right? I mean, things were moving so fast. We were changing lives. We were saving lives. And it's very interesting. And for those that don't know, I mean, you were with the company about 2 years before you became the CEO of The Truth About Cancer and also the CEO of Organixx. So it wasn't just a journey, right, of doing customer support and that's where you were. I mean, everything in your life had changed, right?
Yeah.
You were going from, you were learning more about business and just climbing the ranks. And it was just, I think it was an amazing time for everybody, and it changed a lot of lives.
Yeah.
What are some of the first things that you started to change health-wise as you were learning more and starting to implement it into your life? What were some of the first things you started doing?
So eating organic, for sure, was the first thing I changed. And I still get crap from my family about that all the time. I know some of them are going to listen to this, and I'm just going to flat out say I get crap all the time from my family. They're like, they make fun of me nonstop, and I just take it. I love them, and nothing bad about my family. And it's funny because it's taken some time for them to be okay with the concept to the point where they're not just making fun of me. Like sometimes they'll buy things and they'll be like, look, it's organic. And I do like really appreciate it. Like it means a lot to me. But I do truly believe that the majority of the food on our shelves now is not real food. We're literally eating toxins and garbage. It is not nutrition. It's not, it doesn't have any
food-like substance.
Yeah. It's literally something like in one of those, superhero movies where they make these crazy, human things or whatever, and they're not real, but they look real. That's what our food is. It's like a transformed version of food that's killing you. And people really don't understand that. They do not understand that pesticides and toxic materials are being used in what we're growing, that people are creating fake versions of food and making Oreos and bonbons and Twinkies and all these things that people eat. But even some of the food that's healthy on the shelves, healthy in quotations, is not real food. So I started growing a garden. I bought all organic. I cut out a lot of sugar, dairy, gluten. I just didn't feel like that's what my body needed. And so food was the first thing that was a big change in my life and a big shift. And let me tell you, it is one of the biggest shifts you can make because organic food is extremely expensive. And cooking organic, especially even 4 years ago, what you can get organic, then versus now has changed dramatically. I remember when I first started shopping in the grocery store for organic food, it was so hard to find. I mean, this is just 4 years ago. Now, and I actually really attribute the success of that to Costco. I really do. First to small stores who are putting organic foods and supplements and things in their stores. I mean, that was the first big movement. But then I remember I loved to shop at Costco, and all of a sudden I started seeing all of these organic things coming out at Costco. And, a store with that kind of power changes the way everyone does everything. And from the moment they started putting everything organic in Costco, it made it more affordable for people. It's still more expensive, don't get me wrong. But then you started seeing
it's starting to lower the gap, right? And the more
sure.
that other people, you guys probably see memes and see different things about it where you vote with your dollar.
Yeah.
And you really do. The more that we all spend that little bit extra on organic, the more organic farmers there will be, which will drive the price of organic down, which will make it more available to more people. And I'm with you. I mean, companies like Costco and others that are larger companies that get behind it, it's helping make it more affordable.
Well, and it just validated what I was doing as I saw it go into more and more stores and became a bigger and bigger thing. And one of the interviews that really changed my life and made me do that was with Jeffery Smith. I mean, he is the expert and he is the pioneer and the trailblazer in bringing awareness to GMOs. I mean, even some of the things that have been, some of the legal cases that have happened recently around GMOs and Monsanto, you can point back directly to him and thank him for that and thank him for the way he's changing the world. And that his interview changed my life. I really listened into that and I was like, I need to change what I'm doing with my food. And it mattered because I had kids and I had a family and I was like, what I'm feeding them matters. It impacts our emotional, mental, and physical well-being. And so, food was a huge game changer. And it was a hard thing to change. It was a very hard thing to change.
Absolutely. It's interesting. You talk about you get crap from your family or things like that. And just think about our parents' generation or our grandparents. And they're like, well, we didn't have organic. Well, you didn't need organic because it wasn't being sprayed with a ton of pesticides, right?
Yeah.
Back then. There weren't genetically modified plants at that time,
Yeah.
right? And so everything that you were eating as a kid was organic. In turn, talking about my mom's
Right.
generation, my grandparents'
Right.
generation.
Right.
So it's like they see organic now and they're like, well, why do we need that? Well, that's just what you ate regularly, right?
Yeah.
And look at how much healthier that generation was weight-wise, in my opinion.
Well, and let me say one more thing too on the food thing. At the time that I changed to organic, as a family, we were very poor. And I mean, poverty. Truly. And that was when I was just getting into my professional career. I was going to school. I had kids. Like, we did not have hardly any
When you were
money.
working customer support for the Truth About Cancer, it was...
And everything was so... I paid my way through school. It was so tight. And to make that shift to organic, like, I think this is going to resonate with a lot of people. I budgeted my life to afford healthy food for my family because I realized that I was either going to spend money keeping my family healthy or spend money trying to get them well. And I realized at that time, that shift in my health, that shift in my thinking, I would rather spend money on really good quality food for my family than anything else. And I can tell you without a doubt that it changed my family, how healthy we were, how it impacted our life, our well-being. And it's not easy to make that shift. It's expensive to go organic. It's expensive to buy foods like meat and vegetables and produce and all of those things. It's easier to just go buy $1 box of this here and here and here. And that was me before organic and changing how I ate. But I can tell you right now, it was so worth it. It was the best sacrifice I could have made for my family financially.
I think that's a lot of times the feedback that you get is, well, I'm on a budget, or I can't spend on this, or I can't spend on that. And it's true. You may not be able to get everything right away organic. You may not be able to make that shift, but making small changes, start getting, if you start eating a lot of, a certain type of food, just your meats, start getting your meats more organic and antibiotic free, is going to make a difference, right? You may not be able to change everything at once, but it's also about priorities. And I think that's, you hear people all the time saying, well, I don't have time to do this and I don't have time to do that. And it's, yeah, you do. You got plenty of time to do it. You just haven't made it a priority.
Yeah.
It's the same thing when it comes to your food. Are you going to Starbucks every day and buying a $5 latte? Well, consider not doing that and put that $5 towards, the piggy bank of buying organic food. Yeah. Right? What are the other things that are being purchased that you might make a pivot? And I get it. Listen, I mean, there's some delicious tasting food-like substances out there too, Twinkies and Starbucks and things like that are cheap. Mm-hmm. But I have to encourage, the more that we all spend on organic, the cheaper organic will become.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. And you know what? I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I'm living proof that you can be on a very tight income and you can make it work. It's possible, and it's essential. The healthier you are, the more you can provide for your family. It's going from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. And that's not easy to do when you're in the thick of it and you have all these things against you. But I think it's weird to say this, but I think changing to organic food and having more of an abundance mindset and giving back to our bodies and giving back to ourselves is what allowed me to be more successful down the road.
Absolutely. I mean, you're getting toxins out of your body, toxins that affect the way your mind, the way you think, how alert you are. Are you more tired because you're filling yourself with junk and sugar and all of that? And so are you able to operate at a higher speed, a higher capacity? Absolutely. All day long. Yeah. And listen, I've never met somebody that's worked harder than you or that works harder than you.
Thank you.
So the amount of energy that you put into the businesses then and now is phenomenal, and being a mother of two. So it's something definitely happened there, whether it was just going organic or what, you're definitely working your tail off to make it all happen.
Yeah.
So you switched to organic, started feeling healthier.
Yeah.
What happened next? Did you start adding any exercise in yet? What was the next?
Exercise has been a bigger thing for me in the last 2 years. It wasn't, I believed in being healthy, getting off the couch, not sitting around and watching TV all day. But the next big thing for me was supplementation for sure. I mean, I had started supplementing before Organixx even became a thing. And then Organixx became a thing. And that's another place where it's like I've grown exponentially as a person to understand what supplementation really is and how it impacts you, deficiency in your body and what you need in your body, understanding what clean supplements are. Like that's been another journey of health for me. In growing a business and loving that business and loving what we did there and changing people's lives, it also changed me. So I think food was first, and that came, with the truth about cancer. And I think food is one of the most critical and most essential elements of our health and our lives. And what works for one person doesn't work for another person. It's different for everyone. And then supplementation came, and that was a game changer for me. I definitely felt my health improve, and I felt better than I'd felt in a long time, especially once we started developing and creating supplements that were really clean and that people could trust. Putting that into your body just makes a huge impact in how you function and how your overall health, or just how healthy you are overall, I should say.
Yeah, and we have a little advantage, right? Because running the supplement company, owning the supplement company, we're allowed to have a lot of input for what do we want in the supplements and how do we want to create them. So,
yeah.
That is a slight advantage that we have. The good news is we made things that only we would take, that had to be good enough for our standards, which made them higher than anybody else's out there.
Yeah.
And makes it great for everybody else.
Yeah. Well, and I think something that will really help people understand our supplement line too is when we started with the truth about cancer and people started asking, what do you do for this? What do you do for that? How do you find good sources of this and this? I mean, they just wanted answers to everything for natural health. And then the supplement line was born out of that. And we created supplements that were really impactful in the sense that it was like blends and multiple benefits in one product and really treated specific things in the body that everyone deals with. So inflammation, gut health, all of those things. And when you start taking supplementation for the most essential elements of your health and things that your body really needs, things that all of us are deficient in, or all of us struggle with. And that's not every single person, but the majority, that's where our supplement line comes from. And so imagine where I hadn't done supplementation before. I kind of started playing with it before even Organixx was born, and then Organixx happened. I mean, I went from feeling really good to like really, really good because I was getting things that I just needed in my body that I hadn't been getting before.
So first you went all organic.
Yep.
Then you started adding supplements and you started feeling really good.
Yep.
And then you had a pretty big scare.
Yeah.
And you had some challenges with your health.
Yeah.
Please share.
Yeah. So I went through some very stressful things in my life, about 2 years into working with the truth about cancer. And so this was about 2 years ago. I had a lot of family trauma. I had a lot of personal trauma. I was running companies, which is a lot of work. I loved it. And it's what's really fueled me and been a passion for me now for 4 years. I absolutely love it. And I've spent hours and hours growing businesses and learning about business. And I've had to take a lot of time out of the business to understand business, especially in the internet marketing space. And it just all took a toll. It took a huge toll. I went through a divorce, and that was really, really hard. And just all the things that go around that. And so there was a lot of stress and there was a lot of pressure, and I was still eating organic and I was still trying to be relatively healthy. But what we don't talk about enough with health is that your emotional well-being directly impacts your health. It's so critical. Getting enough sleep, being emotionally well, being emotionally balanced. And I can look back on the last 2 years, and it's been a journey back to my emotional well-being and health. And as I got more and more stressed and I was taking more and more on and there was more pressure and I was trying to juggle all of these balls, I started feeling really, really sick. Like when I would explain it to people, I felt crazy. I was like, people think I'm insane. They think I'm that person, like the hypochondriac, like, just what is she talking about? I was so tired. I would get up in the morning, even if I would sleep 7 hours, I would get up in the morning and I'd be like, I want to go back to bed. And it wasn't a normal, like, oh, I'm just a tired mom and I'm working, I'm so tired. It was like, I could literally go back to bed and sleep for 7 hours. I'm so tired. And by halfway through the day, I felt like I couldn't keep going and the energy was just gone. And it impacted me emotionally. When you're that tired, you just can't think straight and you're just stressed. And then also another symptom of what was going on with me was my lymph nodes. They started getting really inflamed in my neck, under my arms, sometimes like different places in my legs would feel really weird. Around like my hip area was really inflamed. And I started getting really worried. I could feel them. I could feel my lymph nodes. And it was like, when you're kind of thinking you're a little bit crazy, I was like, I'm not going to the doctor. Like, I'm crazy. Like, I just need to sleep more. I'm stressed. Like, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It finally got to the point that it was happening every day, that I would wake up and I was hurting. I was tired. My lymph nodes were inflamed. I was talking with some really close friends about it. I was so worried. I was having a hard time sleeping, but then I'd wake up and like, I was so tired and I'd try to take naps and I couldn't sleep. Everything was just so out of whack. And I was still trying to maintain supplementation and eating organic and just nothing. There was nothing that was helping it. And I started throwing around the word like cancer, like lymph nodes. Lymph nodes are, a sign to tell us something's wrong with our body, but they were so big and so inflamed. I was like, I'm really worried. So I went to the doctor and she started checking me and feeling my lymph nodes. And she's like, your lymph nodes are huge. And I was like, yeah, I know. That's like, don't tell me something I don't know. And I was like, I know they're huge. And we were going through all this stuff, what's going on here, 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 here. Like, and, we just couldn't figure out exactly what it was. So we sent, we did blood work and sent it off for testing, did the full workup. And I waited for about a week and finally she called me back and I had mono. And it doesn't sound that bad, but she called me on the phone and she's like, I think this is probably one of those like worst case of mono I've ever seen, like with your lymph nodes being so inflamed and you're so tired. She's like, it can wipe you out. And she's like, it can actually get really dangerous if you don't take care of it and take care of your body. And I was like, mono? I was like, isn't that the little kid kissing disease? Like, what is this? Like, how do I have this? And she's like, it actually can get pretty severe. And if you're already beaten down, you're already worn down, you're already stressed, it can be really, really bad. Really bad. And to the point where you can't even function. And she's like, and then if you don't take care of it, it can get worse. And I was obviously grateful to hear that it was mono and not cancer. But, it just tells the story of like our bodies and our health are so critical. I could not function at the time and it was so, so hard and it really scared me. And I was trying everything I could do to get healthy. So after finding out that was what had happened, I actually reached out to you, to Ty, and to some people that we worked with and asked like, what can I do for this? Because it's so bad. And I ended up getting thermography done, which was a life-changing experience for me. I'd never had it done before and I did full body thermography. And the woman who read my results actually found other issues that were going on in my body, like food allergies that I didn't know about that were also causing my inflammation and making it 10 times worse, which is probably why my lymph nodes were so big, even though that's a symptom of mono. And then one of the individuals that we worked with, Dr. Robert Scott Bell, prescribed some naturopathic remedies to me. I took Epstein-Barr virus. There's a boron product that I took, and I can't remember the name right now, and then liquid silver, liquid colloidal silver. And these are things I'd never taken before. And so I was kind of like, oh, is this going to work? So I started taking those every day, multiple times a day, sleeping a lot, still eating healthy, and I started supplementing with other things too. I upped my intake of turmeric 3D and just a few other things that I talked to some other doctors that we worked with about as well. And after a very long year of being very, very sick, it took me about 6 months to get healthy again. But after 6 months, I got back to being healthy again. And, again, a lot of people are going to hear like, mono, that's not that bad. It was horrible.
And how long do you feel like you had that?
Really severe, like being really, really sick with it. I think I had mono for about a year. I think it got really bad for 6 months. And then it took 6 months to get well again. And there were days I was so sick, and I hurt so bad. And I was so afraid, not knowing before what it was, that I would just cry. Like, how can I get better? I'm doing everything I can. And then there were days after being diagnosed that were still really hard too, being diagnosed with the mono. But yeah, I turned to natural medicine to get better, and it was the only thing that worked for me. And so eating healthy, and I started exercising after about a month or two of really resting my body. I started exercising again, and that also contributed to me getting better. I had to be smart about it, but my body needed that again. It was ready, doing all of the natural remedies, eating healthy, and then the exercise just pushed my body back into health. But it was a long journey, and my body was really, really, really deficient in some things and really struggling. And it takes time to heal a sick body.
So give me an idea, because all of us have experienced different health challenges throughout our lives. Mm-hmm. What was the pain level on a day-to-day basis of your lymph nodes on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst?
Yeah. So that was what was so scary. That's what made me worry it was something so much worse. And for people who've had really severe mono, they're all going to be shaking their head like, I know what you're talking about. It's so bad. But there were days that my lymph nodes were like a 7 or an 8. And those were the days like I'd get up and
They were
cry.
sort of the touch, right? I mean, you couldn't even
touch
your arms.
Yeah. Hurt so bad. And it was really, really scary. And in fact, since then, now that I understand my body more, when I do something to my body that it doesn't like, the first response is my lymph nodes. And that's why they were so inflamed. I mean, it's an immediate response for me. When I eat something my body doesn't like or something I'm allergic to, my lymph nodes get inflamed. And so because my body was so sick and I was dealing with the mono, and then I also found out some other things that I was doing wrong with my body through thermography and some other testing, my lymph nodes were very unhappy and it was very painful.
What were some things you were doing wrong that you found out through thermography?
So food allergies were one of them. I had some issues with dental work, and I've since had that corrected, but they could see from my thermography some of the issues with my teeth. They could see some of the areas where I needed to fix things there.
Was it just old fillings that were in there that had high metal counts? I mean,
root canal.
Okay.
Yeah. And right now it's fine, but I have been monitoring it with my dentist who does conventional dentistry, but he also does holistic. And right now it's under control. But when I was really sick, it was one of the things that was really impacting my health too. My mouth hurt a lot, and it was the root canal, and it was like all the inflammation response in my body. So yeah, and I've learned more about dentistry since going on this journey of health and what you should and shouldn't do. There's a lot of things you can research out there, but yeah, so dental work. And then in my thermography, they could see it was red in my ascending and descending colon. And after all this time of the doctor reading thermography reports and charts and things like that, she has learned that when you see issues with the ascending and descending colon, you have issues with being allergic to certain types of food, which I didn't know. I had an idea that I was allergic to possibly coconut, but there's other things since that I've realized through an elimination diet that I've had issues with as well.
Talk to me about the elimination diet. So
yeah,
what because you know, we're good friends. We work together closely, so I'm fairly familiar with all the things that you did.
Yeah,
and it was impressive and fascinating. A lot of the stuff that you did. So I want to make sure that the audience gets to hear, because I guarantee there's others out there. Now, it may not be mono, but they're dealing with other health scares, health problems, health things. And I just want to, allergies, all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to pry until you give us all the details.
Yeah. So I've said this many times on the podcast before, and I know it firsthand because of my own experience, but all of our bodies are different in what they need. some of us are deficient in some things, some of us are deficient in others, some of us overproduce some things that others, need. It's just our bodies are all very unique. And I think most importantly, they're unique in food. What works for you is not going to work for me, and vice versa. And so I have to, first of all, thank my friend Joni for turning me on to an elimination diet and helping me take on an elimination diet. It is no small task. It's huge. So I started out pretty much cutting everything out. It was insane. Dairy, sugar, gluten, and I went down to like starting out with one type of meat and certain types of vegetables. And I would just eat that for a few days and see how I felt. And I'm like, okay, I'm good with this. And then I would add another type of meat in, and I would add, I cooked with oil for a while. And then I was like, I'm just going to add a little bit of butter, of course, organic, and see how that goes. And then I had an idea, like the idea that I might be allergic to coconut. I tried cooking with coconut oil. I tried putting it in my smoothies. That was the first thing on my elimination diet. I was like 2 or 3 weeks in, and it's like, I felt it. Itchy throat, swollen throat, lymph nodes went crazy. And I've even had some like allergy related issues, like full on attacks eating coconut. I didn't with the oil because I just used a little bit. But yeah, putting the coconut in, like I instantly felt something after eating it. And so took that out. Then I started adding in more fruits and vegetables, one thing at a time, one thing at a time, one thing at a time. So I was drinking water and adding in just, one thing at a time. It was very, very hard. And I'd go out to eat with people and it'd be like, sometimes I couldn't even find things to eat on the menu with what I was doing with the elimination diet. And then I started adding things like nuts in. I found out that almonds make my throat scratchy. They make my lymph nodes inflamed. I was using almond flour to cook things. And I would thinking it's so healthy, it's so good for you. And for some people it is. For me, I can't do it. I can't touch it. Now I'll eat almonds from time to time, but I know that if I eat a lot or I'm using it consistently or I'm doing almond flour, it's going to impact me. So I just don't. So there's little things like that. And I actually think too, I could go and get even further testing. I haven't done full blown allergy testing, but the elimination diet definitely taught me that there's some nuts and then coconut that I just can't touch. And not only that, but when I did the elimination diet, my body detoxed so much crap out of it, all the toxins, all of the garbage, because I was eating so clean, organic, grass-fed beef, wild caught fish, organic fruits and vegetables. And
but you were eating like very few vegetables, right? Like, I mean, you weren't even eating a wide variety. Like,
well, over time I added more and more in.
But there in the beginning when you were detoxing, I mean, there was like only
spinach.
There
and
was
like
just a
mixed
few
greens.
Right.
And then I would add in green beans and see how that went. Yeah. I mean, even with fruits and vegetables, I did the elimination diet. And yeah, and I would encourage everyone to do it. It's super hard. It's a lot of work. It's very time consuming and it's a daunting task. It's incredible what I know about my body now and what foods I can and cannot eat and how they're going to impact me. And when I have those stupid moments of like, I'm just going to eat this because I want to eat it, I know immediately after, I knew that was going to happen. Why did I do that? So yeah. And this went on for 4 or 5 months straight, elimination diet. And yeah, it was one of the most interesting experiences of my life. And it happened around the time I was getting better after being diagnosed with the mono. I kind of added the elimination diet in too. And I also attribute my health getting back to where it is because I did that. So. Excellent.
So tell me where you are now. Well, what is your current routine look like? Because you've been sharing with me lately, that you've never felt better and things like that. What are you doing right now that has you feel better than you did 10 years ago?
Yeah, I've been telling everyone in my life that I feel better now than I've felt in my entire life. Even as a kid, I look back and think about when I was a kid and like being tired and lethargic and emotional sometimes and little things. I look back now and I'm like, I know why, I know why I felt this way or that way or this way because I can see how my body feels now and I can compare the two. It's so interesting to me. But I'm healthier now than I've ever been. I feel better now than I've ever been, or ever have in my life. And I attribute it to quite a few things. We just did an interview with a woman, and I loved what she said. She said, we did it for the podcast. She said, you have to be the CEO of your own body. And I loved how she said that, 'cause it's like building a business, building your body. And I've had to figure out things that I'm deficient in. There's a lot of testing you can do for things like that. I have not specifically done testing for things like that, but I can tell from, I did know from my blood work, some of the things that she brought back to me, like, you have issues here, you have issues there. From the thermography, I learned some things, but I know people can also do a lot of testing to figure out where they're at with their body. And, that's some of the next steps for me too, is I really want to get more in tune with my body, my heart rate, my blood work. You can do hair tests. There's all these things you can do, but right now, my life looks like getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. I'm not perfect at it, but I try really hard to be. And part of that is it's a ritual and it's a routine. If you go to bed and you're watching TV, you're probably not going to sleep 7 or 8 hours, and you're probably not going to fall asleep well. I typically read before I go to bed, and I try to relax, listen to music, calm down. Sometimes I practice gratitude. So 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and I will do anything to get that. Like with my kids, even, I've had to work really hard to get them in good routines so I can be in a good routine. You cannot put a price. You cannot overestimate the power of getting enough sleep in your life. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I work out every day. There are a few days that I take off, but for me, emotionally, physically, and mentally, working out keeps me sane. It keeps me healthy, and it keeps my emotions in check. I am a far happier person when I exercise, and I typically work out in the morning before everyone else is up because it's quiet. I can think. I can do what I need to do. I run right now 4 to 6 days a week. I never thought I was a runner, but now I'm running, and I love it. I'm doing circuit training, and then I'll usually do like kickboxing videos, different things like that. And my next step in health for me and fitness is to actually get into lifting and get my body really strong, really toned, really powerful. That's going to be a whole new level of health for me. And it's just part of my health journey, and it's where I want to be. And I also am going to be working on getting my heart rate into really optimal places. There's so much around that in your health that people aren't aware of. And I've been reading more and more about it. And I think people would definitely benefit from understanding their heart rate better.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot around heart rate training myself.
Yeah, I know you have. And
things like that.
Yeah, it's made me read more about it. It's fascinating.
It is.
It's really fascinating.
So really quick, because you've said that you're doing a lot of things, and I want the listeners to understand, I mean, you're doing all of this at home.
Yeah. With
2 kids that are upstairs sleeping when you're doing it.
Yeah.
Or, maybe just waking up.
Yeah.
But you said circuit training. Can you expand? I mean, do you have a full gym at your house?
Nope.
What are you doing?
I don't. No, if I want to do, going to the gym is one thing, doing it at home is another. A lot of times I'm doing circuit training at home. So I have weights at home, and I do my circuit trainings like cardio, weights, abs, repeat over and over again.
And are you following a program? Are you following...
I do. I go through different programs. At one point in my life, I did P90X. I loved it. Loved it. Loved it. That one's really hard. That's not for the faint of heart. And then you can, there's Beachbody puts programs out, other things. There's women who are totally ripped off of Beachbody videos and following a protocol and a program there. And then I would absolutely recommend, like, to anyone, you should get a trainer at the gym, even if it's 1 day a week to teach you how to work your body out right. Like it's something that I need to be more diligent about. But yeah, I just think there's so much you can do there. So that's me. And sometimes when I do my runs, I do circuit training too. Like on days I'm only meant to run in my mind, how I've planned it out. I'll go outside and I'll run a mile, and then I'll do 50 push-ups, and then I'll do burpees, and then I'll do crunches, and then I get up and run more. So lots and lots of circuit training.
Excellent. You sound like a beast.
Nope.
No. So tell me about so that's your morning routine with working out.
Yeah.
What does your morning look like diet-wise? Because I know you have a pretty strict routine around your morning diet.
I want to go back to something too, because part of my journey to health has been my emotional health. working through the stuff that happens in our lives and our emotional health is one of the hardest things we can do to be healthy, but it's so critical. So in the mornings, I read almost not every morning, but I really try to read every morning. And then I practice gratitude. And the way I practice gratitude, I learned this from Tony Robbins, and you can actually look it up on the Tim Ferriss podcast. I'll never forget the first time I did it, and I listened to it. And he walks you through this exercise, and he said, fill your heart, feel the blood pumping through your heart, fill your body, feel your body, feel gratitude for your body. And then he talks about hard experiences in our lives. And he talks about feeling gratitude despite those hard experiences. Like, think about a hard experience. Now think about things in your life that you're grateful for. The best moments, the best things. Don't just think about them, feel them. And I remember the first time I did it, this was when I was kind of like putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Like, my emotional health is so tied to my physical health. Like, it became more and more clear to me over the last few years. And I will never forget the first time I did that. I just sat in my car listening to it and did it. My girls were in at gymnastics and I cried. I just cried and cried and cried. And it's become a practice that I do regularly in the mornings or at night. It just depends on the day and what happens. But in the morning is definitely best, even before I get up and run. And I feel gratitude for things in my life. Not just think it, feel it. So I would definitely recommend anyone to go and listen to that exercise with Tony Robbins. It changed my life. And if I could thank him in person, I would. It's changed how I see gratitude. And then after running and getting my girls off to school and all of that, I typically juice. I've talked about that. You can go back and refer to our juicing podcast. I talked a lot about it, but I juice every single day. If I don't make my juice, I find juice. I was even just traveling for the last 15 days. I found a juice or a substitute for juice every single day without fail, because I have felt the significant change it's made with my health, my energy, my skin, my hair, my nails, how I feel. And I just don't feel like I can go without it. So juice every day gets a lot of nutrition into my body. I drink a bone broth smoothie right after that. So bone broth, banana, organic peanut butter, ice, and water every day. Every single day. And has collagens in it. Scoop of bone broth, scoop of collagens. And then I eat berries with that every morning. So blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, I mix it up so I get different berries. And then for lunch, I typically eat a clean protein, chicken, beef, fish, and then a lot of vegetables, and typically an avocado. Lots of vegetables. And right now I've been playing around with, and I've been posting it like on our Instagram and my personal Instagram. I've been playing around with doing one vegan meal a week, which has been so fun. And I cook all of my food. I prep all my food. I cook all my food unless I'm traveling. And then I still try to find extremely healthy food. But like, I get meat separated out and I'll cook like a piece of chicken and all the veggies in the pan at lunch. And I'll take a break from work, or I'll do it while I'm on calls, and I'll cook it at lunch and eat it. And then I do the same thing for dinner. I typically don't snack a lot, but if I snack, it's organic, healthy snacks, usually veggies or nuts that I can eat. Sometimes I snack on peanut butter. And then I typically don't eat very often after 7:30 or 8. And if I'm really, really hungry, I'll make another bone broth, or I'll snack on something really healthy. Sometimes I'm known at night when I'm really hungry, before I hit that 8, sometimes even 8:30 mark, I'll like throw veggies on a pan, put them in the oven, cut up an avocado and eat that. And then I drink a lot of water, a lot. That's been a huge change in the last probably 6 months, 5 to 6 months for me. I take a water bottle with me everywhere I go, and I'm drinking water constantly. And I drink a lot of tea. I drink tea typically 3 and 4 times a day.
And what kind of tea do you drink?
Chai tea. It's really good for digestion. So when I drink it, I typically, and other things, it's yogi chai tea. It's organic. I absolutely love it. And I usually drink it after I eat food because it helps with digestion. And then the other thing I'll mention is supplements. I supplement a lot. So, specifically from our line, but I do use other supplements too. I do with my kids. I use a lot of spray supplements. Like, my kids in the morning take vitamin C, B, and D. They take liquid silver. They also take our supplements as well. So, yes, my kids do, even my kids. But I do turmeric, I do 7M Plus, and I do multivitamax regularly. Collagens every day, bone broth every day, iodine every couple of days. I don't really feel like I need that every day, but I do feel a difference when I take it. It's just not a daily ritual for me, but a couple of times a week. And then I'll mix other things up in our supplement line. But yeah, so those are my dailies. And I also take the daily liquid sprays that my girls take, C, D, B, liquid silver. And then we do all natural remedies and things like that for when we get flu and cold and other things.
Excellent. Excellent. I think you've given just a lot of good tips, a lot of good pointers. I loved hearing about your routine, what you're eating now. And I'm glad that you're really focused and that you talked more about the emotional impact on our health. I don't think that gets enough attention, especially the stress. And managing the stress. And it's something that we're diving into on more of our podcasts now. It's something that that we just need to be a lot more conscious of, is what's our emotional stress. And we just did an interview with somebody that I'm excited for when that airs, that talks about Blue Mind and talks about how to control your emotions with that. So do you have it's a question you like to ask a lot. Do you have 3 top pointers that you would like to give people to wrap up this episode?
You're putting me on the spot. You know, the first one is that you can't serve other people when you can't even serve yourself. If you're not healthy and mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, that's a self thing. You have to take care of those things yourself. And if you're not taking care of those and putting those things first in your life, and at the very top of that list for me is health. I've said this before on the podcast. When my health is where it is right now, I mean, my life has never been better because I'm able to do all the things that I need to do and be where I need to be and feel how I need to feel to function in life at, optimal, level of health. It's been amazing. So putting yourself first is not a selfish thing. It is not a selfish thing. We've got to get out of that mentality. Putting yourself first allows you to do what you need to do for everyone else. So that'd be my first takeaway. The second one is be open-minded. I don't think that people stay open to the concept of natural health enough. They don't look into it enough, and they just listen to what they're told and they just do what they're told. And we have choice. We have choice in our health. We have choice in our bodies. We have choice in what we're putting in our bodies. I can't say it enough. Take control of your life. Take control of your health. And the last thing is to reach out to like-minded people. I have learned more from other people on this journey of health than I can even take in. And I feel gratitude for it in my life every day. My journey of health has changed my entire life, starting with the truth about cancer and then Organixx, all the people I've met, all the people who have shared their stories with me. When people tell me you've changed my life, I just put it right back at them and say, you've changed mine. Because of this mission that we've been on, because we've connected with so many people, my life will never be the same. And so if you're struggling with your health, if you're struggling with your life, reach out to people. That is the most important thing you can do. And through reaching out to other people, I've learned how to live a better life, especially when it comes to my health. And it's been one of the most valuable lessons I will take with me in life, is how to live my best life through my health.
Awesome. What an amazing interview. Thank you for sharing. I know that you are a very private person that generally does not like to open up and share. And I think the more that we all share our struggles and our hardships and the lessons that we learned, the more that we can help others, the more we can inspire others. And I know that there's takeaways for me from doing this interview. There's a lot of people listening. They're going to get a takeaway. So yeah. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Can I say one more thing too? I just want to say to people who are listening, I know we have a lot of female and women in our audience. I know that, there's a lot of people out there who are struggling, who are listening, not only emotionally, but health-wise. Like, I just want people to know they're not alone. When I was going through my struggle with health, I thought I was crazy. And I thought other people were going to think I was crazy. And I just want people to know there are so many resources out there to help you on your journey to health. So I just want to say that I just feel really strongly like we're not in this journey alone. We have so many people to help us. So I just want people to remember that.
And I think it's a valid point. Even if somebody's not facing a health scare, a lot of times the journey to health is a lonely one, right? We talked about this with Dr. Susan Pierce Thompson, right? When you go to a party or you go to a family gathering and they're pushing pumpkin pie on you and you want to say no, it's like you're looked at as the crazy one. And what's wrong with you? You don't want to eat pie. And it's like, you're just trying to get healthy, right? You're on this journey to health. Working out sometimes can be a lonely journey. When I go running every morning and I run alone, making choices to eat healthy can feel lonely. And so one, I love your third recommendation to find community. There's a lot of community to be had, and you can find that even through social media. I think community in person is even more powerful. Finding that support group, finding like-minded people that feel the same way as you, believe the same way as you, will encourage you. Can imagine that you can find some lifelong friends with people that kind of have those same values.
It makes me emotional while you're talking about it. I've actually gotten a little bit emotional while you're saying that, because I think through my journey of health, I've developed the deepest and most profound relationships of my life through people who we've impacted, through the businesses, through friendships, through people who have saved my life, people who say that we've helped save theirs. Like, I can't, it's just, the journey of health is a beautiful one, and it's brought some of the greatest joy and the greatest friendships to my life.
And so for those of you listening at home, I just encourage you to share your story with others, find a community and share your story, share your lessons learned, ask for help, find out what other people have done if you're having struggles, if there's things that you're trying to accomplish. Far too often do we get divided through political and religion and even diets that you eat and all of that. And it's such a disservice for us as people, human beings, experiencing life, where we can much more powerfully come together and inspire each other, help each other, share tribal knowledge, which I'm going to be talking a lot about. It's one thing that I want this podcast to turn into, is sharing a lot of just knowledge from other people and tribal knowledge, so that we can all learn from it, we can all grow, and we can all just become better people, healthier people, live longer, inspire our kids. I mean, all roses and unicorns at some point, right?
Yeah.
So, TeriAnn, thank you so much for sharing. It was an amazing story, and I'm glad to see that you're healthy. I'm glad to see that you're feeling better.
Thank you.
And
me too.
for those of you listening at home, make sure you visit empoweringyouorganically.com for all the show notes. Please, please, please subscribe on iTunes. If you like what we're doing, leave us a review on iTunes. Give us however many stars you feel like we deserve. Give us an honest review on iTunes. It helps us reach more people. It tells iTunes that people are listening, and they give us more exposure and put us in front of more listeners, which hopefully will inspire them to live longer, healthier lives as well. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, TeriAnn, and we will see you on the next show.
Have a great day, everyone.